Hello and welcome to Big Fish Kids Club this week. We hope you've had a great week and we're really looking forward to all the exciting things we've got on today.
Yes, and as per usual, we have lots of fun and exciting things like a song and some craft and a story, and we've even got a game to start with as well. So, and this is Elisha.
Yes. So, Elisha's going to say hello again. Excellent. Well done, buddy. So, what we're going to do, you stick with me this week because we're going to do animal karate again this week. We'll look for a different game next week, but we think you've been enjoying this, so we're going to stick with it for this week. But this week, Becky is going to be our animal karate expert. So,
if you can think of any games that you think might work, please let us know.
Yeah.
Because we're struggling.
If there's games that you want us to be playing and doing, then yeah, that would be great. Now, if you haven't been with us before, the way that animal karate works is like this. What we're going to do is, in a moment, I'll say animal karate kids, do your thing. And you need to choose one of three things. You can choose either the giraffe, the crocodile, or the penguin, which we sort of squash up to fit onto the screen. Then I'll say animal karate expert, do your thing, and Becky will go, hi-ya! And she will then do the one that she's going to do. Now, if she does the same one that you're doing, then that means you're out. So we need you to be honest, we need you just to sit down. We're only going to play 3 rounds like we normally do. So if you're out, don't worry, it won't be long and you'll be back in joining us again. But if there's anything, if you're still in, then we'll do the next round and we'll sort of go from there and see how that works.
And if you win, please get your grown-ups to come and tell us on our Facebook page or that kind of thing to let us know so that we can say, yay, next week. Okay?
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so I'm just going to check on a problem a minute, just to make sure things are working okay for everybody. But as I'm doing that, I can still talk, even though I'm not on the camera. So, so what we're going to do, we're going to get ourselves started now. So what I'm going to say is this right here. I'm going to say, animal karate kids, do your thing. So, you ready? Here we go, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Animal karate kids, do your thing. Hi-ya!
Which means you need to choose between a giraffe, a crocodile, or a penguin.
So, you've chosen. Stick with what you've got. Okay, now over to Becky. Animal karate expert, do your thing.
Hi-ya!
Oh, a crocodile. Okay, so if you had a crocodile, you need to sit down. You're out for this round, but don't worry, we'll be back into our song. Now, if you were still in, then you're on to the next round. So, those of you that are still in, here we go. Animal karate kids, do your thing. Problem with our connection, things went wrong. So we've got to abandon Facebook and we're just going to be on YouTube. We'll post something on our Facebook page now to let you know if you're a little bit behind us. But we were just talking about the craft and stuff. So Becky, if you talk about the craft bits.
Okay, so what you'll need is a piece of paper, a pair of scissors, some string, some sellotape, a stick. I've used a kebab stick. You could use whatever kind of stick you like, and a tub that was a vegetable kind of tub or a mushroom tub, that kind of thing. I've used a mushroom tub because it hasn't got holes in it. You might also need a pen or some colours as well if you would like to do some decorating afterwards. And that is what you will need for our craft today.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to actually do a song. So we're going to introduce a new song. This is called All Through History, a song we love. So you can go across and just enjoy that, copy Becky the actions, try to join in with the words, do the best you can, and we hope that you enjoy it. So here we go.
Noah built the most enormous boat that kept the birds and animals afloat. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Noah lived his life for him. Moses led his people through the sea, taking them away from slavery. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Moses lived his life for him. Oh, thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, oh, thank you, that you are just the same when it comes to me. When it comes to me. And he won. A humble shepherd boy became a king. The Lord was good, the The Lord was strong and David lived his life for him. Daniel was inside a lion's den. God brought him to safety once again. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Daniel lived his life for him. Oh, thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, that you are just the same when it comes to me. When it comes to me. Jesus died to take away our sin, so we could get to know our God again. The Lord is good, the Lord is strong, and we will live our lives for Him. Oh, thank you, all through history you were faithful. Thank you, you are just the same when it comes to me. Thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, you are just the same when it comes to me. When it comes to me. When it comes to me. When it comes to me.
Hi there, Luke. Hi there. How are you doing this week?
I'm good, thank you, Steve. I was just enjoying the music.
Okay, Luke, we're having to just give a bit of an apology if people have just managed to join us over on our YouTube video, because we tried to do Facebook as well, but things went wrong, so we had to abandon that and just go back to our normal thing on YouTube. So,
Sorry.
but hopefully whoever was watching us on Facebook has now picked up the message and is joining us here.
Hello.
There we go. Right. So, Luke, last week we were looking at the bad bite. We were looking at Adam and Eve. What did you think of that story?
Yes. It was so good, Steve. I liked all the pictures.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, the pictures were really, really good. And they had a problem, didn't they?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a really big problem. It messed everything up, didn't it? What they'd done, but there was a solution, wasn't there? As well? Can you remember what that solution was?
Oh, I know. It was Jesus dying on the cross. That's what you did on the tree in the middle of the picture.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So that's what actually was what the name of Jesus was, because it was offspring. That God promised that His offspring, Jesus, was going to come and sort things out.
Yeah. Yes, it is. So we did offspring last week, Steve.
Yes.
I'm guessing there's another name we're doing this week.
Yeah, so as we said last week, we're going to be doing a whole series of names of Jesus in the Bible. And so this week's name is a bit of a strange name. It's the name Lord.
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 Like Downton Abbey Lords and Ladies Lord.
No, not like that. We're not sort of saying that Jesus was like on Downton Abbey or something like that. What we're saying is that actually Lord is a name that means the supreme one, the ultimate one, higher than anybody else. We give people the name Lord on things like Downton Abbey and things like that nowadays, but actually, that's not really what it should be. It should only be reserved for God alone. Jesus is the only one that should be called Lord.
Ooh, yeah, that makes sense. Because you said, didn't you, that Jesus is God.
That's right. And actually, what the Bible says is that He needs to be Lord of our lives, which means boss of everything, because He's the boss of everything. He created and made everything. We looked at that a little bit last week, didn't we? And so actually, He needs to be not just boss of everything out there, but boss of our very lives as well. And that's what we're going to see in our story this week.
Ooh, that sounds good, Steve.
Okay, so it's something a bit different. So
Yes.
why don't you pop down in your boat, settle down, and then listen to our story. See if you can pick up where that word Lord comes, and we'll see if you can remember it.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay, so as Luke wanders off there, now one thing I forgot to sort of say when we had Luke up was obviously we said before, every week Luke is doing a memory verse recap video. Each week he goes to visit the location of wherever the story was. And so actually, it's good to pick up on that, catch that. It's normally on a Monday that you'll see that appear on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, so that actually it can help to remind you of the memory verse. But as well as that, we also post this story that you're going to see again now, and we post that on a Sunday, so you can watch that again and have some extra questions from me. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go across to the story, and we'll see just what that story is this week.
Today's story starts with something amazing and incredible. Jesus' 12 closest friends, the disciples, had just seen the most amazing thing that they had ever seen in their whole entire lives. You see, they'd been with Jesus up on a hillside as he was teaching people, and there were tons of people there. There would have been 5,000 men, plus probably just as many women, maybe just as many children as well. And, well, the day was getting longer and longer, and they needed some food to eat. And the disciples said to Jesus that he needed to send people home to, get some food. But he said, no, ask around, see who's got food. And, well, there was only one boy who had some food. He had 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. How was that going to feed maybe 15,000 people? But Jesus said it was okay. And Jesus prayed for this food, the 5 loaves of bread and the 2 fish. And it fed everybody. But it didn't just feed everybody. There were 12 basketfuls left over. And they wouldn't have been small baskets, they would have been big baskets. How on earth had that happened? The disciples were beginning to think, who is this Jesus? He's not just a good teacher, but he's able to do miracles, amazing and incredible things. Well, they left that hillside and they headed down towards the side of the lake. They were going to get in the boat to travel across to the other side of the lake. But just as they were about to get in, well, Jesus turned around and he said, guys, you head across, I'll catch you up on the other side. Peter, one of Jesus' closest friends, was just about to turn around and say, hey, Jesus, how are you going to get across? But before he had a chance, Jesus was already walking away, heading up the hill to go and pray to God the Father. Peter thought, well, he's Jesus. I guess he knows what he's doing. I'm sure he'll find a way to catch us up on the other side. And so they started to head off. Peter thinking about what an amazing day it had been. How Jesus had done the most amazing and incredible things that he had ever seen. He realised that this Jesus was someone really, really special. Well, they started to set sail and Jesus headed up onto the hillside where it was nice and quiet and he could pray to God the Father. Just him and God praying and talking to each other. Just like it had always been from the very beginning when Jesus the Son, God the Son and God the Father and God the Holy Spirit were all together. But now God the Son, Jesus, was here on earth, but he still needed to spend time with God the Father praying to him, just like we do as well. But as Jesus was up on that hillside, he would have seen the disciples in their boat sailing across the lake, and he would have seen the wind rocking them back and forth and things going on. But he would have known that they would have been okay. Well, down in the boat, Peter was in charge. You see, before becoming one of Jesus' closest friends and following him everywhere, Peter had been a fisherman. A great and amazing fisherman. And he would have known what to do. He'd sailed this lake thousands of times. It would have been fine, and he was there sailing across. And as he was sailing along, he thought a little bit about the things that had happened that day, what had been going on, how this Jesus was really somebody truly amazing, somebody that Peter thought he maybe needed to put his trust in and follow. But whilst they were out on the boat, Peter began to think about how things had been before. How he was always the boss. He was in charge. He knew what he was doing. How he didn't need anybody else to help him because, well, he was Peter. And he was amazing and incredible. And so as they were sailing along, Peter thought, well, yeah, Jesus did some amazing things, but I'm my own man. I can do things my way. I don't need anybody else to help me out. And actually, sometimes we think like that as well, don't we? It's what I called last week in our story, eye disease. When we're thinking about ourselves and thinking that we can sort everything by ourselves rather than needing anybody else's help. That's just what Peter was thinking. And sometimes we think like that as well, don't we? We think that we don't need anybody else to help us. We can sort out whatever problem we get into by ourselves. But actually the Bible has a word for that. I called it eye disease, but the Bible's word for it is called, well, sin. Because you see, people sometimes think of sin as being the things that we do that are wrong. But actually it's not. Sin is us turning our back on God, the one who made and created us, the one who loves and cares for us, and us turning our back on him and saying, God, I don't need you, God. I can do it my way. I don't need to go your way and do what you want me to do. I don't need to trust in you, God. I can sort this. But actually the Bible says that when we do that, it causes a great big problem. Because, well, it separates us from God. It means that we can't get to be with him. We can't be friends with him. We can't be part of his family. We're cut off from him forevermore. Well, anyway, back in the boat. It was getting a bit later. It was getting a bit darker. The wind was picking up. The waves were lapping around. Peter was starting to think that this was a bit more of a dangerous journey than he thought it was going to be. But, yeah, he knew he was fine. He knew that he could do everything by himself. But then as he looked over the side of the boat, suddenly he could see a shadowy figure coming across the water. Peter started to get a bit afraid. Perhaps his knees started to knock together and he went, "Ah! It's a ghost!" Peter and all the disciples were really scared. What was this figure they could see coming across the water towards them? What was going to happen? And then as the figure got closer, they realised that, well, it was Jesus. Jesus was walking across the water to get to Peter and the disciples. 1 minute. This sounds good. Jesus was walking on the water. How on earth was Jesus walking on the water to get out there? The rest of the disciples were a bit scared and probably a bit afraid and unsure what was going on, but Peter, well, he said, "Hey Jesus, can I come and join you out there? Can I step out of the boat and walk on the water just like you?" The other disciples thought he was mad. What's he talking about, walking on water? Nobody can walk on water. Even though they could see that Jesus was doing it, they didn't really know what was going on. But Jesus said, "Yeah, sure, Peter. Come out, come and join me." And so with that, Peter lowered himself over the side of the boat onto the waves. What was going to happen? They were in the middle of the lake. It was really deep. Was he just going to sink? Well, Peter couldn't believe it. He was stood on top of the waves. As the waves went up, so Peter went up. As the waves went down, so Peter went down. It was amazing and incredible. Peter couldn't understand what was going on. He was there walking on the water, stood on top of the water just like Jesus, and he was looking straight at Jesus, and it was amazing, it was incredible. Again, he was seeing something miraculous happening when he was around Jesus. But then Peter started to hear the wind. He started to feel the waves just gently on his feet, and he took his eyes off Jesus, and as soon as he took his eyes off Jesus, so he began to sink, and "Ah! Lord, save me!" he called out. You see, instead of keeping his focus on Jesus and trusting Jesus to keep him walking on the water, Peter took his eyes away and thought about all the other things that were going on around, and he began to sink because he was no longer focused on Jesus. And he had to cry out, "Lord, save me." And you know, that's that name of Jesus we were talking about with Luke earlier, isn't it? Lord. It means God above all. Nothing else in all of creation deserves the name Lord apart from God. You see, Peter realised something. When he used that name, he was realising just who Jesus was, that he wasn't just an ordinary man, but he was God himself. Because only God himself could save him as he was sinking down into the waves. And you know, actually, it reminds us that we need to realise that Jesus is Lord as well. That actually, that he's the boss of everything. And if he's the boss of everything, then he's the only one who can help to sort out the problem that separates us from God. You see, if we're like Peter originally trying to do it by ourselves, well actually, there's nothing that we can do to sort it out. We can't break through that barrier of our sin. But the Bible says that actually Jesus did something amazing. That Jesus actually took that barrier upon himself. That actually as Jesus died on the cross, he was making a way for us to be able to get back to God. That as Jesus died on that cross, he took the punishment for the things that you and I have done wrong, so that we could be forgiven if we're willing to turn and put our trust in him. If, like Peter, we're willing to call out and say, Jesus, save me. Jesus, I'm sorry for what I've done wrong. Will you please save me? The Bible has said that he will let anybody who calls out to him be saved, if we're just willing to turn and put our trust in him. Well, as Peter called out, so Jesus reached down his hand, he grabbed hold of him, he pulled him up out of the waves, and he put him safely back into the boat once again. Then Jesus climbed into the boat as well, and they carried on off to the other side. You see, Jesus wasn't just going to save Peter. Jesus is here to save each and every one of us. Not to save us from drowning in the waters, but to save us from drowning in the problems of our sin. Of those times when we turn away from God and go our own way. And actually the verse that we learned last week tells us that, doesn't it? It says everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Just like Peter called on the name of the Lord, called on Jesus, so he was saved. So every one of us who calls on him will be saved. And I love this verse because it says everyone. Not some people or most people, but everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Again, not might be saved or probably will be saved, but will be saved. The Bible says to us that if we call on Jesus and say, Jesus, please save me, I'm sorry for what I've done wrong, and we put our trust in him completely, then we will be saved. It's amazing and incredible. But it takes us to realise who Jesus is. Because that's the thing, you see, the disciples, before they realised it, their boat was over the other side of the lake. They didn't really realise how they'd got there. And the disciples started to turn to each other and they started to say, well, who is this man? Who is this person? And Peter realised. And Peter was the one that first said, truly you are the Son of God. Peter realised who Jesus was. And if we realise who Jesus is as well, then we can turn and put our trust in him and know that we will be saved. I love that story. It's great, isn't it? To see how Peter was willing to step outside the boat, how Peter was willing to do something that seemed crazy, but he was doing it because he trusted in Jesus. And actually, the Bible says that if we trust in Jesus, he will do amazing things in our life as well. But I think this is a good time for us to pray. So, if you've been with us in Big Fish before, you know that we don't just put our hands together and close our eyes, but we do have a little drill. So it goes like this. So if you put your hands on your shoulders, there you go. When I say 1, you need to put your hands out in front of you like this. When I say 2, you need to cross your arms like this. When I say 3, you need to close your eyes, bow your head. Then I'm going to pray, which is speaking to God, but also listening to him as well. And so it's good to be quiet and just listen to God and try to hear if God is speaking to you and what he's saying as well. And then I'll say 4, I need everyone sat up nice and straight, ready to go for our next bit of the Big Fish Kids Club. So here we go, hands on shoulders, ready to go. 1. Oh, you need to be quicker than that. You need to be as quick as you can possibly be. Okay, ready? Here we go. Whew. It's hot today, isn't it? It's hot tomorrow. Sorry. Yeah, 1. That's good. 2, 3. God, I thank you so much that you came into this world to save us. Lord, I thank you that you have promised that if we call out to you, just like Peter did, you will save us. Not just save us from waters where Peter was drowning, but actually save us from being cut off from you for all eternity. And instead, you will make us to be part of your family forevermore. God, I pray you help us understand just who you are and the amazing things that you have done for us. Lord, let us know what it means to trust in you, just like Peter did. Lord, I pray all this in your name. Amen. 4. Stand up nice and straight, ready to go. Because now we're going to move on to the next part of our Big Fish Kids Club this week. We're going to go over to Becky, who has got an amazing craft for you this week. So let's go and see what it is.
Hiya there. I don't quite know how Elisha manages it, but he manages to stand in front of me every week. Hello. Right, so before we go on to our craft, we are going to go through this week's memory verse. So if Steve pops it up, there we go. It says, beginning to sink, he cried out, Lord, save me, which is in Matthew, which is one of the 4 Gospels, which is in the New Testament, so the second half of the Bible, and it's in Matthew chapter 14, verse 30. So this is Peter saying, Lord, save me, which was very specific to Peter then. Yes, I know, lovely. Can you come and sit down, please? So it was very specific to Peter then, because he's saying, Lord, save me, in the sense of save me from drowning. But it's also helpful to us as well, because that's what we need to say. We need to say, Lord, save me, to Jesus. So because we can't deal with the problem of sin, we need Jesus' help. Okay, so we are going to make something today. So you might have realised, or you might not, that I try to pick things that I think you might potentially have at home. So, which is why we use scissors and sellotape and string a lot. I was using tub, because I thought people might have these around at home maybe. Thank you. So we are making, this week, we are making a boat. So the first thing you need to do before you do anything else is you need to take your piece of paper and fold it in half. So, and then you want to cut your piece of paper in half. I was just going to rip it, but you should be better off cutting it. If you're not very good with scissors, ask a grown-up to help you with the piece of paper. Or if not, ask a grown-up to help you with this, because things for poking through are quite sharp, or you can use some scissors. In my case, I can use the pointy bit of the kebab stick, but please don't do this yourselves. Ask a grown-up to help you. Yes. So, I'll just stick that through there. So, if you do it with the piece of paper folded in half again, then you can end up that holds the sail, so that when a boat is moving, the wind catches in the sail and moves it around. So, the next thing you need to do is you're going to be sellotaping your mast into your tub. That's why I picked one that didn't have holes in the bottom. Some fruit and veg tubs have holes in the bottom, but if you want to actually use this in maybe a paddling pool or the sink or something, then you obviously want one that doesn't have holes in the bottom of it. So I'm going to put that right there. There you go. If you've got younger brothers and sisters, please make sure that you keep the scissors away from them, in the same way that I'm trying to keep these scissors away from Elisha. Okay, so, and we're going to use some sellotape, and we're going to attach the mast to the inside of the boat. So I've put it like that, and I'm sellotaping across here. Yes. Pencils. Your colours are in there as well, are they? Yeah. Okay. So you want to put a couple of bits of sellotape just to make sure that it's really stuck in there. Now, before we do anything else, what you can do is you can colour in or decorate your sail so that it's got so it's bright and colourful, that kind of thing, if you would like to. The other thing you could do is to write the memory verse on your sail to help you remember it this week. So, once you've stuck your mast in there, you'll see it's starting to look a little bit more like a boat. The reason I've put some string on our list as well is because I decided to have some colouring butter. Thanks, buddy. So then you're going to want to tie the string round the mast like that. So it looks like a boat that is, the sail could be moved, that kind of thing. If you've got smaller children, you might want to get them to do the colouring in for the mast, or you might want them to make a slightly simpler boat, maybe out of a yogurt pot or something like that, or even maybe a margarine or a butter tub, that kind of thing as well. So then I was sticking the so I tied the string around the stick, and now I'm going to put the I'm going to sellotape the string to the back corners so that it's on by there. Yeah, that noise means Elisha is concentrating, by the way. That's the noise Elisha makes when he's concentrating. Okay, so just a bit of sellotape by there. Okay, and then... Oh, you still going? You come round here. You focus on that one. So, buddy, if you could just move back that way, sweetheart. There we go. Okay. So what you can use with the other half of the piece of paper is you could make some figures. So you could draw Peter and Jesus and maybe some of the other disciples, and you could colour them in and cut them out and stick them around the outside of the boat, so it looks like they're inside the boat. So now your sail will still be on your mast, but as Elisha is colouring ours in at the moment, there. And we have a little boat, which should hopefully sail in some water as well. Okay, guys, so what I wanted to say as well, thank you to the people that sent in pictures of their craft from last week. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We
Yes.
love to see pictures of what you guys have been doing, how much you've been enjoying it and that.
Yeah.
One other thing I was going to say, you might have said, but with decorating the mast and the sail and that, is you could always put the memory verse on for this week as well.
I did say
You
that.
did say that. Sorry,
I did
must have
say
missed
that.
when I was looking after Elisha.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we put it up there again so you can sort of see it. As we said, it's a great memory verse. Links really straight into the story and talking about how Peter cried out, Lord, save me, how important that is.
Yeah.
Now, we understand that there's been various different problems. We've been stuttering a bit and having some different issues. We hope
Sorry
that
about that.
hasn't been too bad for you. We hope you've been still able to follow along with what we've been doing. As always, we sort of say that the worksheet for this week is in the comments below on the YouTube video, or will be posted on our Facebook page tomorrow. So have fun with that, and on there, the memory verse is there as well, for you to sort of see that.
Yeah, so this is our boat for this week. Please send in pictures of your boats as well. We'd love to see those, and we might even be able to maybe show them, maybe on
Yes.
our Facebook page, or maybe next week in Big Fish. We'll see. But so yes, this is our boat. It is made of a tub, some paper. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Some string and a stick, and it's sellotaped on in different places so that it stays on. I'm sorry if I've gone through that too quickly. I hope you've been able to keep up, and I look forward to seeing what you guys have made as well.
Okay, so just the last thing to remind you of is, as we mentioned earlier, through the week we post up different videos. There'll be another video of the story going up on Sunday. On Monday, there'll be a video of Luke reminding you about this week's memory verse to try and help you to remember it. But as well as that, on our Facebook page during the week, we're going to post up each week one story told by either one of us or one of our friends back when we were in school, when everyone was in schools doing assemblies and everything. We're going to post up some of those so that you can enjoy some of those stories as well. But
Yes.
we hope you've had fun again this week in Big Fish,
Mhm.
and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye now.
You were saying-